Alrighty, well, I was going to do a video in the chicken coop because it's kind of misty and stuff, and as you can hear, they weren't happy with that. But I've gotten asked before, just by people I know and stuff around church and stuff like that. I've been asked, so you want to do agriculture, and why? Well, my thing is, and I think I'm going to make more videos off this one, but the thing is, I want to do something that, that you have chickens and stuff like that, that, if something ever happens, that you have skills that almost nobody else does. I mean, say the world does end or something like that, well, then you've got some skills, you got some resources that most others don't, that you can sell and trade and buy other stuff with. And that's one reason. The other reason is, I want to work something that I get to pick my own hours. I mean, obviously, you got to be up in the morning and at night, put everyone away, do all that. But for the most part, you get to pick your days, you get to pick your hours. If you got someone else you're working with, that can take the work, as long as it's not a hard, heavy day, you can say, hey, I don't feel good. As you can tell, I've been sick yesterday. That's why I'm a day late. Today, I feel a little bit better. But, if you got someone else, you can say, hey, I don't feel good today. Will you cover for me? And they can. And sometimes, you might just have to push through, and it is what it is. So, the main point of why I want to do agriculture is because of the time frame, like I just said. But another reason is, that you're more in control of everything. If I went to go work a 9 to 5, I am confined to the work that I'm given in, say, a cubicle or whatever I'm working in. Well, here, I can do a little bit of parts of everything, and I get to pick my own hours. I get to pick who I hire, who I fire. When we get down the road big enough that we need other people. But for the most part, you can do whatever you want. For the most part, you get to make your own decisions about everything. You can do a little bit of this, that, and the other. What you don't like to do, you can hire someone else to do, or, whatever. Now, the other part is you got to pay for everything. So to get started in farming, it is not cheap at all. So you got to pay to get started, plus you got to work lots of hours to get started. Alright? And then once you get started, then you can do what you want. But for the most part, I've read a statistic before, and I think it was 88% of farmers or people in ag have another job outside of agriculture. So, down the road, we could do whatever we want, but, you're kind of confined if you have a second job. You can't just walk up to your boss and say, hey, I'm not going to be here today. Can you take over what I'm supposed to be doing today? Or, or whatever, so on and so forth. But, there's ups and downs to agriculture yourself. And also, one of the things that I hear other people say about agriculture is, it's hard work. It's not a 5 to 9, it's not a 9 to 5, it's a 5 to 9 job, which is 5 in the morning until 9 at night, if you don't know, which is 16 hours, I think, if I'm correct. So, you work all the time. Plus, if you have a second job, that's even less time that you can work. But you kind of, like I said, you can make your own decisions, I could decide, take that tarp down and put, metal roofing on it. Or, I could do whatever. Or I can decide to do what I'm doing now and wait until I get more chickens, because that tarp works perfectly fine. We've had it up there for almost a year, and it hasn't had any leaks. It doesn't get too hot. It doesn't, there's a lot of things, and truthfully, I gotta say, I'm lucky. We got a really good, really thick tarp that, I happen to have just sitting around that I forget what I was using it for, but I didn't need it anymore, so we just threw it on this. There's that. But, it's not cheap to get started in. You know, it's going to be long, hard hours all day, every day. You know, later on down the road, we can fire people ourselves. We can be active in every part of the business, not just, you know, what you're told to do inside your little cubicle or whatever you're working in. But I mean, it's a simpler way of living, I guess you could put it. You know, it's easier to get up, say, okay, this is what I need to get done. Get it done, working for yourself, having your own motivation because, you know, you want to see this business succeed. So you say, okay, this is what I got to do. Here we go, let's do it. Otherwise, you're sitting in a cubicle and stuff is thrown on your desk and says, here, do it. And you just do it just for the paycheck. But most of the time, farming is not for the paycheck. It's for the fun and the pleasure of doing it and knowing that, you know, what you're putting on your table isn't off of some farm or out of some building and who knows where and what all's in it. You know, I mean, you know exactly what's in everything you feed your chickens, so you know what's in that egg. You know, we feed them corn and we feed them layer pellets, especially this time of year, because it's got a lot of protein in it. You know, yeah, I'm not 100% sure what's in those protein pellets. I know the corn's just corn, so, you know, later on down the road, I mean, we want to do something better. We have our own all-natural feed. So, I mean, there's ups and downs to both, but keep trying. Get up every morning, you know. Get up every morning, keep doing what you can do. And when you have 20 bucks to throw in to buy something to make it better, well, you throw the 20 bucks in and you buy something better. And, you know, if you spend that 20 bucks, you mess up, well, you know, I like to think about it is, it's not a mess up. It's a way to learn that it doesn't work. You know, say I go out here and I put a 1x1 roost outside here. Well, you know, they might roost on it. They might get too many of them on it and it breaks. Well, then, you know, it's not really a failure. I look at it as, all right, well, now we know we need to use like a 2x4 or something like that. Something with more structural stuff where it doesn't break. So, you know, it has its advantages, it has its disadvantages, just like all other types of business. But I mean, like I've heard some people say, you know, it takes a certain type of stupid to do it, to get up to know, you know, some years, excuse me, it takes some years that, I mean, you don't make any money, some years that, you know, you make very little if you even do break even. Some years you'll make a ton. You know what I mean? It changes every year, every day. But, so, that's my whole rattle, I guess you could talk about. And it is what it is. And please comment, like, and subscribe.